A lot of new and exciting reveals have been announced for Genshin Impact, and these are the top 5 new features coming with the 2.3 update. After almost a whole year of taking a break from this icy region, we're finally making the trip back to Dragonspine to participate in a new event, and even though there's a ton of new activities waiting for us in this snowy mountain, the center of it all is going to be a storyline featuring Albedo. Now, just like the last time when there was an event in Dragonspine, you can earn a new free 4-star sword, but the keyword here is new. It's not festering desire, and instead the weapon reward is called Cinnabar Spindle that looks a lot less menacing than its predecessor. And as for the activities, well, they are kind of festive, as one of the things you'll be busy with is building a snowman to celebrate the upcoming holidays. And we also saw from the livestream there's going to be a good amount of agility-based challenges, which are great as they help us remind we need to leave our artifact domains once in a while to touch some snow. Honestly, no matter what miHoYo is throwing at us, it's just great to finally have a purpose and return again to Dragonspine to listen to some of that beautiful soundtrack while running around the ice-cold mountain. As with every new update announcement, a bunch of new smaller events will get sprinkled throughout 2.3, although calling them new is not really fair aside from one of them, because if you played the game long enough, you'll recognize most of these events. So we have Misty Dungeon making a comeback, where you use trial characters instead of your own, then venture into this sort of a foggy labyrinth with a confusing layout, where you're given a thematic goal like utilizing lots of plunging attacks, or maybe freezing as many enemies as possible to unlock those free rewards. The next one is also something that we've seen not too long ago, and it's the Energy Amplifier event where you collect power-ups in the world and then use them in a pretty intense time trial challenge that really tests your understanding of rotations and team building. Or, you know, just eat the best food and go on co-op with someone stronger than you. Marvelous Merchandise is also making a return, so get ready to do a few little exchanges for decent rewards. Finally, this last event is actually something we haven't seen before, and it's a pretty cute one, featuring ninja dogs as the next biggest threat to Genshin's world. You'll need to sneak around and save some endangered animals by using a net to catch them, but to make things a bit more challenging, there will be some of these ninjas lurking around. And what's cool about this event, once it's over, you can still use the net to capture wandering animals in the world, and you can even let some of them live in your Serenity Pod. Geo is the name of the game when it comes to the featured characters of 2.3 update, and starting with the first one, Arataki Itto is debuting as the new 5-star Geo Claymore unit that helps you channel your inner Unga Bunga feelings with his special club. Now, this is quite surprising, as most of us initially thought that the giant club we saw in his artwork will be the signature 5-star Claymore we can obtain from the weapon's banner, when in fact, it's the burst that actually transforms any weapon he has equipped into the club we're seeing right now, and lets you whack your enemies to the heart's content. But the amount of times you get to hit with these supercharged attacks is constrained by a special mechanic that needs strength stacks that you can accumulate in various ways, like using his elemental skill or normal attacks. Speaking of which, it's hard to ignore his absolutely heart-melting elemental skill, which is a tiny bull that pulls the aggro of close-by enemies, and also deals geo damage on initial impact. Basically, from the looks of it, it's all about managing his strength stacks, then using the burst which infuses his weapon with geo elements, and then unleashing those powerful charged attacks by consuming the stacks. And before you get any ideas about powering him with either Benny or Sara, well, I've got news for you. Gorou is going to be the next damage booster that specializes in helping out his Geo buddies. His elemental skill deals damage to surrounding enemies and sets up a General's War banner, where anyone who stands in its radius receives bonus to defense and Geo damage. This is obviously a pretty niche skill that will only benefit certain characters, so don't expect to use him outside of geocentric comps. And this is only proven further by his burst. It's basically identical to his elemental skill, which provides the same stat boosting benefits, except you now carry the banner on any active character, which causes periodic AoE damage. It's honestly a bit sad we don't get to see him utilize his bow for the geo elements, unless of course you count his charge attack. Finally, Albedo's rerun has been confirmed, and it's great to see him reappearing on a featured banner because he didn't really get a good chance to show off when he got squished between Zhongli and Ganyu's banners. He is probably one of the most underrated 5-stars in the entire game, despite the fact it's super easy to build him into a reliable support damage dealer, and things are only going to get better for him once we get to the next segment. But this is where things get super interesting, because in addition to Albedo's rerun, for the first time ever in Genshin's history, Eula will be the other featured character sharing the spot with the Alchemist. They will both be available at the same time as the first banners in 2.3, and miHoYo have told us that the pity will be shared between the two, so if you put in 50 wishes into Albedo's banner and still fail to get a 5-star, you can still obtain a 5-star pity from Eula's banner within 40 wishes or less. And of course, the second banner phase of 2.3 will be both Arataki Itto and Gorou, so this is definitely going to be one update that puts our Primo Gems in serious danger. And finally, a new 5-star Claymore is going to be released. That's definitely going to be Arataki Itto's signature weapon based on past trends. Although, let's not forget the fact Noelle's playstyle is quite similar compared to Itto's, so it's more than likely this is also going to be an excellent weapon choice for her as well. This is probably the first time to get super excited about character builds, because this new update will bring 2 new artifact sets, and they are absolutely loaded, not just with power, but a ton of text as well. So the first one is designed for offensive Geo characters, who gain 30% defense from 2 set bonus, while the 4th set basically provides additional 24% defense and Geo damage bonus by gaining Curiosity stacks, which you can obtain both as an active and off-field character. Now, you can build up this Curiosity up to 4 times by either using Geo attacks every 0.3 seconds, or if the character is off-field, then you just gain 1 stack every 3 seconds. This is honestly a pretty insane set for Noelle and Albedo, but we have to assume, even if we don't know the official Itto and Gorou damage multipliers, it's also probably going to be the best in slot set for them as well. However, it doesn't look like these bonuses will be beneficial for Zhongli or Ningguang in terms of comparing to other artifacts they have access to right now, so it's pretty interesting to see such a niche set coming out and not even being beneficial to all Geo characters. But since we're on the topic of hyper focus, this second artifact set is actually pretty insane because it looks like miHoYo has finally decided to let us make our Chi-Chis and Barbaras into killing machines. Well, at least that's what I'm hoping for. Now, the 2 set is just there to provide 15% healing bonus, and the real deal is the 4 set bonus. In the most simple terms possible, every 3.5 seconds you summon a sea foam that will stay there for 3 seconds and do an explosive attack on surrounding enemies, but the cool part is, the damage scales with the amount of healing you do within those 3 seconds, with a maximum of 30,000 damage. Obviously, this artifact set will need to be extensively tested once it's out, but right now it sounds awesome in theory, and there's a chance it might have a huge influence on how we will view healers in the nearest future. Overall, we're finally starting to see some unique artifacts to help you capitalize on the character's role or niche, although this is definitely a dangerous sign for fragile resins chilling in our backpacks. Now that we're getting a bunch of Geo characters with 2.3 update, it only makes sense a new world boss gets introduced so you can farm it for its ascension materials. And this new world boss is going to be a giant Rift Hound, so we can probably expect shields won't work against it because of corrosion mechanic. It really does seem like miHoYo is busy with coming up with more ways to make us use our healers. But that's not all of the new content we'll see in this update, because we will be getting 2 new hangout events with Gorou and Albedo, as well as a story quest featuring Itto himself. Also, you will now be able to invite Paimon over to live in your Serenity Pod. But to quickly summarize, the main feature of 2.3 is going to be a major event that's happening in Dragonspine Mountain, where you'll be able to unlock a new 4-star sword and build some snowmen for the upcoming holiday season. As for the other, smaller events, lots of old ones returning, and the only unique one will let you catch some endangered animals, and you will be able to use the Ubiquity Net gadget even after the event is over. Now, for the most crucial part of this event, for the first phase of 2.3, we'll be getting Albedo's and Eula's rerun banners, which both share the same pity and gives players more options to pick and choose, while the second phase will have Arataki Itto's banner, along with Gorou as his trusty 4-star companion. Finally, there's also 2 new artifact sets coming out that are looking to be pretty insane, so expect this update to deliver a lot of new character builds. This is the first time in 2.0 update cycle we're not getting a new zone to explore, but with all things considered that's been shown so far, it's pretty clear 2.3 is going to be remembered as Geo Impact, since there's so many new things coming out to support this element, and it's also exciting to see just how much potential will these new Geo defense and healer artifacts will have. Either way, if you made it to this part, make sure to use the Primo Gem codes you can find in the pinned comment, and thanks for watching the video.